Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
What's going on, guys? It's Filthy and I'm back with another video. So this is the final episode of the Let's Play for the Hardcore Wizard. Now this one's going to be a bit different. We did do one more stream. I totally screwed up and forgot to put the recorder on. So we did get the goal, which was GR 100. So we've cleared 101 now. So just thought we'd have a look at the character, have a look at the playtime, tie everything together, and then we'll go through the 101 clear. So we did manage to get on the leaderboard, so I don't quite know how far we'll end up. I probably won't try and get past this PTR. I'm hoping it's going to start soon. But yeah, we got up to 101 in 10 minutes 50. So that is currently got us just outside the top 250. So I don't know, maybe on stream on Twitch we'll try and take this a little bit higher. Would be nice to be in the top 250. But obviously the point I'm trying to make with this series is really we haven't put too much time into this character. So total playtime of 22 hours. Now obviously I have streamed, so some of this time we have just kind of been stood about in town, been chatting with people. Sometimes I've left the character on after finishing streaming, so you know, maybe we could have shaved a little bit of time off this, but to get past GR 100 with essentially the worst class in the game at the moment has been pretty good. So we'll jump on, have a little look at the character. You know, I mean, if you think about it, a season normally lasts like 12-15 weeks, so this is under 2 hours a week game time, and we have managed to clear it. Now we don't have an ancient weapon, we don't have an ancient offhand, so it's not even like any of these pieces are particularly perfect. Obviously we've collected up some nice ones. Paragon level about 750, again for like that kind of 20-24 hour game time range. This is all SSF. You know, we didn't do any grouping, it was all completely on our own. And yeah, so we took the Hydra set. Obviously it was a lot of fun playing it, really good for hardcore, very tanky. So we basically get double Hydras on the 2-piece, which is super nice. We get a ton of damage reduction in the 4-piece, and then the Hydras get like a boatload of damage on the 6-piece, which is nice. So yeah, we just basically play Hydras. So Serpent Spark gives an extra one and gives us a multiplier. Again, the multiplier on this weapon is about as low as it could be. 250% would be the absolute bare minimum, but we could get up to 300. So again, you know, you'd be getting like, I don't know, another 10% out of the modifier if you had a better one, plus another 20% plus damage out of an ancient, really nice one. Similar for the etch sigil. The multiplier on this one is nice. We did manage to find a 147 on there, but again, it's not ancient. It's got damage roll on there, so it is very important to get that up as ancient. Now, it was a channeling build, obviously, because we're using the etch sigil, so that means we take the Deathwish sword as well. So again, you know, you could have the Serpent Sparker here or Deathwish. This is less common. It's a harder drop, so generally that goes in a cube. Again, another multiplier on the Hydras. Magistrate, which is really handy for defense. So when you pop the Hydras, they like cast this Frost Nova. That freezes stuff, which is amazing, and we also get this really big damage increase. Toughness wise, most of it is coming from the set, which is 80% when we've got like the full 10 Hydras like here. But we also have the Halo Carini, so we get a little icon at the bottom that basically pings, and that gives us 80% damage reduction. Again, this ring's not amazing. You know, you ideally would want like cooldown and crit or double crit. So, you know, again, a piece that could have been improved, but a 76% roll on the modifier for the damage reduction, so not too bad. We ended up swapping over to Traveler's Pledge and Compass Rose, again giving us another damage mod when we're standing still. Now as we run about, it gives us some damage reduction, which is pretty cool. And obviously, you know, double crit on the amulet is always going to be handy, and then the Compass Rose just rolls with a bunch of stats, but again, no means perfect. You won't want vitality or move speed, so you know, there's quite a few bits to go. Hydra damage is always really important to get on your shoulders and also on your chest piece, so we kind of try to max those rolls out. Crimson's is here to give us some extra resource cost reduction, which also is damage reduction, and it does give us a bit of extra damage as well. We're not rolling for cooldown. I haven't rolled it on anything. I think we've got it on the ring, and I think that's the only spec. So sheet cooldown fairly low at 33%, but it does offer an extra modifier. Now again, toughness wise, the blood braces, we've pretty much rocked these the whole way. These double the value of our shields. Again, not perfect roll. You know, you would want closer to 100. You'd want an ancient pair, but again, it does beef up the toughness. So you'll find in the rift when we have a look at it, most of the time we're not even in dropping health. We do occasionally, but in general, this kind of keeps us, you know, topped up with shields, topped up with health, because obviously the shield at the moment is 1.3 million. It's more than our life pool, and given the 80% damage reduction from the set and from the Carini, it does kind of keep us pretty tanky. So legendary gem wise, Taeguk, rank 90, it's just extra damage, extra armor, which is really nice. Trapped, again, because the magistrate procs the Nova, you're probably going to be quite close and personal anyway, but just in case the magistrate will freeze, that will activate trapped, so that's great, extra damage. And then enforcer, obviously the Hydras count as pets, so just flat damage, and they take 90% less damage, although that's probably of less importance. So that is the build. So skills, we went with Arcane Torrent Flame Ward. Again, because it's hardcore, we just want this damage reduction. So again, as we stand and channel, because the way the exegetial mechanic works is we get the Hydras cast. Now normally I'd cast them anyway, and then I'd just stand here and just get the extra damage, but the way that Flame Ward works is we get 25% extra damage reduction. So again, keeps us nice and tanky. It means we can set up shop with these two Hydras. So gone with Frost Hydra, just because, you know, got the cold. So, you know, Mammoth we can't take, even though it does do the most damage. And then basically we've just gone for the cold. That was what we rocked the whole way through. Spark Flint is here to give us an extra 10% damage. Again, we could have maybe swapped this out for something else, not massively essential, but extra 10% damage seemed to make a bit of sense. Storm Armor, we obviously need this for the Hail of Carini, and then when we pop it, we basically get a nice reduction in our kind of channeling cost. So, you know, as you can see, the arcane power is not too much of a problem. I mean, if we absolutely spam the crap out of stuff, I mean, yeah, I can't even get it to go down, so no arcane problems, which was nice. Magic Weapon Deflection, this again is more damage. It does also give us an absorb shield, so again, our shield is currently 1.3 million. We pop it up, you know, that will increase the value of the shield once we perform an attack. So let's have a little go. Yeah, shield up to 1.4 million now, so again, pretty nice. And then teleport, just to get us out of trouble if we have a little bit of difficulty. You don't really want to be repositioning because of the way the Hydras work, the way the channeling mechanics work, but if you need to, it is there, and it gives us this little extra 25% damage reduction. So again, just another top up if you find yourself in difficulty. Passives wise, Unstable Anomaly, obviously hardcore, you don't want to take this off ever. I mean, in general, cheat deaths are normally good to take. Galvanizing Ward, this will give us an absorb shield. Obviously that feeds into the blood braces we've got, so it gets almost doubled, so that's why the shield is absolutely huge. Audacity, I just found that I was basically casting the Hydras and then kind of sitting in between them like this. So it's doing a lot of my damage close range. Again, you could swap that out, but I did find that's quite useful. And then Unwavering Will, when we stand still, we get more armor, all res, and extra damage. And again, we're pretty much standing here doing channeling, so that seemed to make a bit of sense. Paragon wise, in realistic, you want to get your move speed up to 25%. We didn't need anything in max arcane power. I did put 750 points into vitality, or 150 points rather, to get 750. Again, just to try and keep us really beefy over that 1 million life pool. Again, it's hardcore, guys, so you just don't want to really die. And then a meager amount went into intelligence, because obviously we're not at the 800. For the offense, we decided to give cooldown because it's just more damage. I think attack speed will probably be more damage. I don't think it makes too much difference which way around you do those, but the cooldown does offer us a little bit more access to teleport, just in case we need to pop it a little quicker, and obviously filling out the crits. Now, the way I normally do it is I do crit chance first rather than crit damage, because you normally get quite a hefty crit damage boost from your green gem in your weapon. For the defense, armor, life percent are normally the first two that we fill out, because all res we get quite a bit from our intelligence on our gear anyway, and then life regen is last because it's probably the least useful out of those. Utility, definitely area damage. The Hydras, when you manually cast them, will activate area damage, which is great. Just, you know, the more density you get, the more damage you do. Resource cost reduction, also pretty handy. It's damage reduction from the Crimsons, and it means the Hydras and, you know, any of these abilities just cost less resource, which is good. Life per hit, yeah, cool. It's going to help a little bit, but I mean, it's so meager, isn't it? 8,000 when our life pool is like 1.1 million. Plus, we tend to keep the shield up. You know, that's the kind of goal of it. It's not very important. And then lastly would be gold find. So that was the build. That was how we cleared it. And the gems were kind of at, you know, 96 was the highest, 90 and 67. So again, not massive on the gems. There would be a few more rift levels we could certainly squeeze. So let's jump in, have a little look see at the clear, and and away we go. So yeah, 101, it's been a good series to do. I have enjoyed it a lot. I'm not sure if I will do it next season because it is a real killer to upload these files, but when we jump in the Rift, we just want to make sure that we get out the Hydras, because you don't have the damage reduction until you do. Got a little Hail of Carini icon here, so when we're playing, we're just trying to keep an eye on this, trying to make sure that it doesn't ever get to dropping off, because if it does, we're going to lose, like, what was it, 76% damage reductions. That would hurt. And then the Traveler's Pledge Compass Rose modifier is just handy. You know, when we move around like this, it gives us extra damage reduction. And then when we do find something like here, we find the shield pylon, obviously GG's, we can stand still, and the damage starts to ramp up, the Taeguk ramps up, and we obviously get the Unwavering Will bonus. So we just kind of set up shop. The only thing you need to be careful of when standing still with these Hydras is this Carini bonus, because it works on like you've got to electrocute something a certain distance away. So it's dropped off there. We've got the shield pylon, so it doesn't matter. But if we hadn't, I probably would have like backed off somewhere over here, and then that would have allowed us to get that bonus back up. And then yeah, I think I was fairly confident of getting this done, but I mean, you never know. It is hardcore. You can sometimes get some bad luck. You can get, you know, lag spikes and all sorts of stuff like that. But yeah, Hydras I think is a fairly solid set. I'm hoping it is one of the ones that gets a bit of love. Obviously, playing it is fairly powerful. It's probably, you know, Veers is probably better than it, not by like a huge amount. And the Legacy Dreams Hydra obviously would be probably much better than this. But as sets go in the game, it's probably in the top kind of third. You know, it's towards the bottom of that top third, but it could use some love. And obviously, as I say, we're hoping for PTR later today as I record this. So fingers crossed it does get a bit of a bump in the damage. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how they do it, because it probably would just have to be a bananas number on the set, because it needs like at least twice as much, I think, just to try and make it a little bit more competitive, maybe a little bit more. But you know, like we've got to 101. I think we probably could have done maybe 102, 103 with the gear pieces we've got. You know, if you orged everything up, you could probably jump another, I don't know, 5 or 6 levels. If you got the ancient weapon, ancient offhand, you could probably jump another 4. So you know, there is quite a way to go with it. It's not like 101 is the limit, but it is quite interesting now with the power creep in the game that we can get up to this kind of level of Rift with only this kind of 22 hours game time. You know, it was fairly surprised. Now we did get some really good RNG on the way, but I don't know, like stuff like that tends to even out over time. The longer you play the game, the more the RNG gets removed. And obviously, whilst we did get some really good early drops, the non-ancient weapon and non-ancient source have probably hurt us a little bit. You know, it's kind of around about 800. You probably should be picking up your ancient weapon. Again, we didn't do any bounties other than to get the gem plan. So the next step for this character probably would be to kind of play at this level, like 101, 100 for a bit, bring the gems all up to 100, and then probably do some bounties to get working on reforging a weapon, just in case we hadn't found an ancient one. And then after that, I guess you probably would be working on augments, and then looking to like get your push figure up again. That's obviously what we've done on the other 2 accounts that we've had, or the 3 accounts. So we played quite a lot of Necro on stream. That's been quite nice. We played quite a bit of God DH, obviously, because that's been the, you know, the latest and greatest and newest things. That's been a lot of fun. And we've also done what we've done, Blast Shield, Captain America, Crusaders. Again, that's been an awful lot of fun. So season theme wise, you know, it's not really helping us out too much. You know, these are our stacks down here, they are doing a bit of damage, but on a personal level, I've really enjoyed the season. But I guess that's probably because I've started streaming, so it's been cool to meet some people who watch the videos, who, you know, people in the just Diablo community have helped me out with jumping in sometimes. Not on this series, obviously, because this has been SSF, but yeah, it's been cool to kind of see. You know, I think GR100 for even the most casual player, I think is certainly achievable. You know, in this game. So I'm hoping the stream series or this Let's Play has helped some people out. Maybe you've picked up some tips. Maybe it's shown you kind of like a pathway, a worked example almost of how to get to 100. I'm annoyed with myself that we missed one of the episodes and I forgot to turn the recorder on, but it was fairly similar to the other kind of 5 they've uploaded. You know, we just kind of ground out some bounties to get some gem plans, and then we just kind of took it real slow and just, you know, brought some of the gems up as we went for it. And by the end of the stream, I just really wanted to clear the 100, so we went for it. I sweated a lot, but we did get it done. And then this one, doing it off stream, you know, obviously once we'd done it once, I kind of just thought, well, 101's not going to be too hard. And you know, the maps that we got on this clip were okay. They weren't amazing by any stretch of the imagination, but they also weren't terribly difficult. And as always, when you find yourself a conduit pylon, when you're trying to do like a kind of highish GR clear, it just makes all the difference. Now, in the earlier episodes, we were using the Flavour of Time rather than the Traveller's Pledge Compass Rose. I just found the Traveller's Pledge, just that extra modifier was super helpful. I did notice a really big jump in power, and it is also very handy for the damage reduction, but Flavour of Time can sometimes be of benefit, because if you get like that really good map, you can end up with, you know, double lasting pylon effects, which is pretty nice. But I think overall, the Traveller's Pledge Compass is still probably the way to go for like playing the Hydra set. At least that's what I found. It certainly felt a lot easier after. Now, one of the questions sometimes get about Hydras is about repositioning. I'd say that you probably, as soon as the ocular circles do spawn, you kind of want to jump in them real quick, because it is another up to 85% damage modifier, and it only takes 1 second for you to ramp back up to your channeling bonus. So if you can hop in them, it probably is of benefit. But again, I'm not too sure as to how out of the way you have to go for them, but you know, ideally you don't want to be repositioning because you're dropping all your bonuses each time you move, and that kind of has always been the way for channeling builds, but it just, with the changes they did to fix Bazooka, it's kind of annoying now. You feel really penalised for moving. You know, it's still been quite fun. I've enjoyed the pets, but it is very much a kind of set up shop, stand still, hold the button down, and hope that everything kind of gets frozen, melted, and blown up. I mean, the Frost Nova effect off the Magistrates is super helpful. You know, really good for defense. It just all this crap here is just frozen. They're not going to get to us, and it really reduces the amount of incoming damage that you do take. Now, obviously, it doesn't work on Juggernaut. I don't think we did find any jugs on this particular run, so obviously if you do find yourself a couple of Juggernauts, it is going to be harder. You know, again, as you push further with this build, you're probably at some point going to want to look to avoid them and just completely skip them. And again, at some point, you know, maybe Stricken comes into play with this, because, you know, the Rift Guardian's generally going to be, once you start going up and up, higher and higher, it's the Rift Guardian that becomes more and more of a problem. So again, that would be another kind of next step to do. But all in all, Hydras is fun. I played a little bit of it last season. It is a nice build. As I say, it's cool. Like the map control, the freeze is nice. The damage feels quite nice, and you know, it's a change. But I've done a lot of Veers over the last few years with Wizard, so it is kind of nice to have something different to look at on the screen. So we'll just have to see what happens for Wizard, but I'm expecting big buffs from the PTR. It's, you know, it's the worst performing solo class by a mile. It's really hard to get into a group as Wizard. I've dropped into a few people's stream who've been playing Wizard, and it's just a slog. You know, so fingers crossed they can get back in, because obviously there are some people who just play the one class, and if you're a Wizard main, it's probably not been the best of seasons, because I imagine it's probably been pretty difficult to just hop into a group, whereas pretty much any other class I think has got a role that's pretty easy to fill. So fingers crossed either they get some better solo builds, or preferably some builds that may be a bit more conducive to jumping into groups. So we'll kind of have to see, but I guess it will be RGK or Trash Clear, because Wizard can be a little hard to move fast, I guess. But we'll see what happens. But obviously this is perfect now for a hardcore Rift, because if you can transform the Rift Guardian near to an entrance or an exit, it just gives you that like extra layer of insurance. So I know that by now, once I clear this trash, the Rift Guardian's going to spawn, and then they won't follow you from floor to floor. So let's say I ended up in a bit of difficulty fighting this Rift Guardian, cold snap, it can be a nasty one sometimes. Then we can always just hop down this little exit here, and then we can wait out our cheat death and we can teleport back to town, you know, no problemo. So the only thing we've got to keep an eye on is just making sure this Carini bonus is up, because obviously if we stand next to him, next to these Hydras, he's just going to keep following us, and eventually this bonus will drop off because we're basically too close to him. So he needs to kind of back off. And then this was literally the only thing I was worried about here, just trying to keep an eye on this. And obviously the way the CC immunity works is the freeze will stop working eventually, but again, you know, we've got a lot of time. There is quite a bit of juice left to go, so we maybe could have done another couple of levels higher. But as I say, you know, we've got PTR coming. I'm hoping to be making PTR guides, so we wanted to do 100, so we've done 101, so that's quite nice. And you know, maybe, as I say, if we get a bit more time towards the end of the end of PTR, depending on the level of changes, maybe we'll come back and we'll try and make sure we get a top 200 spot, top 250, something like that. But it was kind of nice to play the hardcore. You know, you can crap yourself a few times because obviously cheat death will go off from time to time. You gotta pay attention. You know, a mistake gets badly punished, and yeah, I'm quite pleased we made it to 101. And there we go. So we were top 250 when we did the clear, so that's quite nice. But all in all, I enjoyed doing the series. Maybe we'll do one next season, I'm not sure. I'm looking into trying to see if I can find a way to stream to YouTube on occasion, but I think that's looking logistically quite difficult with the Streamlabs setup and stuff. But yeah, do come by the stream on PTR, come say hello. Even if the PTR isn't out, yeah, if you do want to pop and say hi, that obviously would be great. But other than that, guys, I've been the Filthy Casual. This has been Let's Play, and we've cleared 101 with 22 hours, so that's not too bad. Any questions you got, stick them in the comments, and I'll be back for some more content. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take it easy, guys. Peace.